I'm going to open this meeting of the Lancaster County Board of Zoning Appeals. Welcome everybody to here this morning. Did everybody get their packages in time to review everything?
Yes, sir.
All right. I guess next, the minutes is from last meeting. Everybody look at them. Any corrections, omissions, additions, anything?
Make a motion to approve.
Making a motion to approve. Got a second?
I second.
Got a second. All in favor? Thank you. So we have two public hearings this morning. And Ms. Pruitt, if you would like to start on the first one with the Lancaster Volunteer Rescue Squad.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our first public hearing is for the Upper Lancaster Rescue Squad that requests a variance from Part 1 of the zoning ordinance, Article 26-6, signs of the Lancaster County, Virginia Land Development Code from the following requirements. The first is a maximum size requirement of 20 square feet. Second is signs may only be illuminated by an external light source. And third, color lamps are not permitted. The owner requests the allowance of a 32 square foot sign with a digital screen, LED backlighting, and colored lamps in order to place a sign on its property known as tax map number 14A-4-29 on Maryball Road, Lancaster, Virginia 22503 on Route 3, which is Maryball Road in District 1. The variance is requested in order to install a business sign on the southwesterly side of the property fronting along Maryball Road in the village of Lively. The Upper Lancaster Rescue Squad would like to replace an existing roadside message board with a digital monument-style sign that is more aesthetically pleasing and multifunctional. The property is subject to the Highway Corridor Overlay District with specific requirements for signs within town or village areas, and it only allows for signs that are a maximum of 20 square feet, external lighting, and does not allow for color lamps. The rescue squad, the volunteer fire department located roughly a half-mile north of the rescue squad property on VSH 3 Maryball Road is also in the village of Lively and received a variance from the BZA on January 12, 2009 to allow a similar sign with that's 32 square feet digital sign with scrolling text and color lamps. Even though the support structure for the rescue squad sign is different from that of the volunteer fire department, the signs are similar in size, design, and function. The rescue squad believes this type of sign will be beneficial for the following reasons. The proposed sign will be more aesthetically pleasing and better represent the organization. The proposed sign will be available for public service announcements and community information. It would also be easier to maintain and update messages, as well as more stable and less prone to damage during weather events. The rescue squad has obtained approval from VDOT regarding the location of the sign and is not required to obtain a VDOT advertising permit. County staff has reached out to VDOT to confirm that placement of the sign. The rescue squad has also obtained approval for placement of the sign from an adjacent neighbor to the south, which is on tax map 14-99 owned by Dixon Foster. There are several attachments to your memo, site pictures, plats, etc. This issue has been advertised and adjoining property owners notified as required by law. To date, there have been no additional public comments received regarding this variance request. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Ms. Pruitt?
No.
No questions? I'm going to go ahead and open this up to a public hearing then. If anybody would like to speak, if you come up to the front here and just tell us your name, your district, and what you have to say. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Judy Hamill. I'm president of the Upper Lancaster Volunteer Rescue Squad. We have been in the process of trying to get this sign. I didn't know it was so much legality to putting a sign up until this, but I'm hoping everything is in place, and I think it'll benefit us so that hopefully we can get some volunteers to come in and to help assist the county and us. I'm also hoping that it will help to, I know it's got to look better than the sign that's there. I've cleaned it, I've replaced the lettering, And there's nothing more we can do with that sign, and we do dearly need a sign. So people will know where we're at, besides a rescue squad sign down the road. So, I appreciate it. If there's any questions or anything that I can add to that, I don't know.
Any questions of Ms. Hamlin?
No.
Well, I'm gonna say something. I agree, the sign would look a whole lot nicer than what's out there right now. My biggest concern was flashing lights and colored lights so close to the road, being it's traveled right well, it's an intersection right there. But I think, from what I've seen, there's going to be no running animation on this sign,
No,
and no blinking lights, no blinking lights.
no.
And I think VDOT told you it can change every 4 seconds,
Something like that.
but the county code is that it changes every 30 seconds.
Personally, I don't see where we need anything that would flash or anything like that, because you see what we're used to, nothing, it just stands still. So what I'm thinking is it'll be more like, when we have maybe a storm, we'd be able to put something up there for a storm, or if we have an upcoming event or training. I don't see where it would need to go real glitzy like a lot of them
Yeah.
do on the side of the road, because they're back off, and I
They
understand
are,
that.
that's was my big thing.
Yeah.
You're so close to the road.
Right,
so-
but this one, in fact, we were hoping maybe to clear maybe a couple trees, so that would be able to be more visible from the backside, because until you almost get up on it, you
Right.
can't see it. And so we've counted it down to like 3 trees that we're gonna have to eventually remove. But first of all, we've got the electric out there, getting the sign out there, and then eventually we ran the electricity to it, and now the sign. And so I'm hoping that, because the lighting on the other was solar, and then we did the electric, and it still didn't help it. And it's just, it needs to be replaced, and this is the next step.
Okay, and I noticed in one of your statements here, number 2, community announcements, but I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Jeffrey Haywood in 2009. And that would be, would your sign carry a county message if needed over a fundraising? Would they make it a priority over a fundraising event for the rescue squad?
Okay, say that again?
So
Go ahead.
if you were, if there was a storm coming up and you guys were having a fundraiser 3 weeks later, would you stop advertising the fundraiser to announce, hey, be prepared for a storm, or,
No, because we probably have to cancel.
Well, what I'm trying to find out is you're going to leave, it's like the fire department said, yeah, if there was something going on that people need to know about, we're going to advertise that over a fundraiser. That's what I'm trying to make sure.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure
Yeah,
of.
because we're part of that agency that
Okay.
we have to prepare for any emergencies that come up, yeah.
Because I do think it helps.
Yes, and that needs to not everybody drives to the other end of Lively.
Right. All right. I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
I don't have any. Make a motion to approve?
second?
All right, let me close this public hearing first. Now, anybody else want to speak? Thank you, Judy.
All righty.
Then I'm going to close the public, well, I first ask Glenn, anybody online? All right, nobody's online, so now I'm officially going to close this meeting.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go ahead with?
Yeah, motion to approve as requested.
Second.
All right, got a motion approved and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Ayes have it, thank you very much, thank you. Yes, ma'am, you may. Have a good one.
Thank you.
On a side note, Miss Andrea, do you have, or are we supposed to fill out those forms today?
Oh, yes, please. If, behind your individual packet for that first hearing is the checklist.
Gotcha.
There, if you wouldn't mind filling that out either now or at the end of the meeting, that would be fabulous. We request this, it's not necessarily required, but we would love for you to do that.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, we now have a second hearing. And if Ms. Pruitt, if you want to, another variance hearing, if you would like to.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our second hearing is from Susan Miller Cantus, Mary W. Hagan, trustee, and Margaret Williams Pace, trustee. Owners are requesting a variance from Part 1 zoning ordinance, Article 5-3 setback regulations of the Lancaster County, Virginia Land Development Code from the setback distance requirement of 75 feet from the center line of the street or road right-of-way. Owners request a 44.4-foot setback distance from the center line of Ring Farm Road in order to construct a garage on their property located at 1070 Ring Farm Road, Whitestone, Virginia 22578, off of VSH 670, which is also named Ring Farm Road, tax map number 34-32 in District 4. The variance is requested in order to build a 30-foot by 40-foot garage on the southwesterly side of the property fronting along Old Mill Cove of Carter's Creek. The property predates the zoning ordinance and the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act. The proposed garage will be replacing an existing non-conforming storage building and will incorporate a portion of the existing parking area. The overall location of improvements and amount of impervious area will not change. Under the regulations of the county's Chesapeake Bay Preservation Ordinance, also known as the Bay Act, the replacement of an existing non-conforming structure located within the 100-foot RPA buffer is allowed, so long as the overall impervious area is not increased. This waiver can be approved administratively by the zoning administrator. However, under the regulations of the county's Land Development Code, any new structure, regardless of the Bay Act waiver, would still have to meet current setback and yard regulations unless a variance is granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals. The proposed project meets the applicable Chesapeake Bay Preservation Ordinance waiver requirements and current yard requirement for the zoning district, but would not meet the current right-of-way setback requirement for the zoning district. Thus, the owners are requesting a variance from the right-of-way setback requirement for the following reasons. Due to the physical condition of the property, there is a limited area to meet the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Ordinance yard and right-of-way setback requirements. The location of existing improvements and utilities provide further constraints to other possible locations. The proposed redevelopment plan would not create additional impervious area on the property, as would adding another structure to the parcel. It is more logical and cost-effective to replace the existing structure in the same location and utilize the existing driveway and parking area. There are several, attachments to this memo, plat, site pictures, etc. This issue has been advertised and adjoining property owners notified as required by law. As of the date of this memo was written, we had received no public comments, but since then, the owners received or talked to their immediate neighbors to basically the left and the right. They received verbal approvals for what they are trying to do. We do have one email that was placed in your spot this morning that kind of confirms that, and that is from the neighbor that would be on the point. If you're looking at the property, it'd be to the left. So it's the one on the point down the way. So they are okay with what they're doing, and they would be the ones that would probably be most affected by it, since they are on that side of where that structure is to go. I think that's it.
Thank
Any
you, ma'am.
questions? Thank you.
Any questions of Ms. Pruitt?
No.
I have one quick one.
Yes, sir.
The way it's drawn up here with the yellow,
Yes.
that little small piece of yellow right there, would that already be inside that 50-foot, 75-foot?
Yes, it would have. It's actually, I don't believe that is actually there any longer. I think that's now driveway.
Okay.
I think that has been removed. I'm not sure what that was to begin with when this particular plat was done at this time, but that, it's just showing where they're going to be is still within the area that was already improved at some point with that impervious area.
Okay, because it comes almost down to that line. I'm just curious. Okay.
It does.
Thank you. Anybody else got anything?
No.
All right. I'm going
I've
to,
got some questions.
for Ms. Pruitt?
Yeah, about there's a right-of-way shown as extending over onto this property by quite a bit. And it encumbers the shed and comes well onto the property. I don't have the distance right here, but it's probably a good 50 feet onto the property. And I don't, that right-of-way that created this setback was years after the road was built down through there. It's like an adjacent driveway for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses. And that's affecting the setback on their property. And I don't think that should be.
You're speaking of the
That somebody
22-foot
can
right-of-way?
create something on their property that affects almost 50 feet into the adjacent property. And it was done well after the fact. That garage and that shed had been there forever and was part of the main manor house. I think Ammon Dutton Sr., his wife owned this property at one time. And anyway, then somebody comes along on adjacent property and subdivides some lots off that affect the setbacks on something that's been there forever. And that doesn't make sense to me.
So you're speaking of the 22-foot right-of-way, not their personal driveway? Because they come off of,
They come off of a state road with a 22-foot strip, and then they subdivide it off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots. And that right-of-way and roadway is used for, just for those 5 lots. How can that affect their property the way it does? It comes 75 feet onto their property. And I don't think it should be. It's going to affect whatever they do with where the carriage house is.
my understanding is that according to the survey of record, the one that has all of my highlighting on it, this particular property they come off of that 22-foot right-of-way. They're not coming straight off of the state route. So the state route ends technically prior to that, but they are not only do other folks use that 22-foot right-of-way, they're using that, they come off of that as well. So they're using it, but the ordinance that we have in place just, I guess unfortunately it doesn't, it's broad enough where it just simply says 75 feet from the edge of a street or road right-of-way.
Yep, it says any
Any
road right of
street,
way.
any street or road
I think
right-of-way.
that's referring to a dedicated state right-of-way. It's not referring.
No, it
No,
says
sir.
whether
This
private
is
or
just a
otherwise.
driveway back for 5 houses. That's all it is. But yet it's encumbering their property 50 feet away from them. And they had nothing to do with it, and I don't think it should be that way. I haven't read the ordinance that created this, that you're talking about.
Yeah, well, it was included in your packet, I believe, but unfortunately, it's not more definitive like you're saying. And maybe it could be updated to give a little bit more clarity between maybe a state right-of-way, a private driveway, et cetera. But the ordinance, as it specifically reads, it says any street or road right-of-way. And it is a named street, and more, I think I have seven properties use it, including this property.
These 5 properties weren't there when the driveway to their carriage house was put in. It was a separate piece of property over there.
No, I mean, I agree. The
Standalone
difference
piece of
here,
property.
sir, is that they're tearing down what's there, and now we're building new. So we're not expanding upon what we have. It's actually a new structure. So I think that's where the BZA kind of comes into play, because we're not expanding a non-conforming structure. They're building new here. So I think that's what triggers, it's like everything kind of starts over again in a way. So it's triggering this.
Right. Mr. Chairman, if I may, the code also states that it includes any private as well. So it's not just a public road right of way, it's private. So in this case, the code is talking about this 22-foot right of way. So we do have a setback that is required based on our ordinance. So this is the best way to deal with that through a variance, if it's your will to grant it.
Maybe you need to look at the ordinance, because I don't think it's, if this is what's happening, I think it's wrong.
Well, we'll take that under advisement.
Anybody else? All right, I'm going to open this up to a public hearing. If anybody would like to speak, come up to the microphone. Give us your name.
Morning.
Good morning.
My name is Mary Hagan, and I am speaking on behalf of a one-third owner of the house, along with my sisters, Margaret Pace and Susan Canis. And I will have my husband come up as well because he is more versed in the location of the home, et cetera. Unless y'all have any questions, we are just trying to remove an existing structure and put a new, more aesthetically pleasing and more functional dwelling on the house, I guess I
Yeah.
would say.
Exactly. The current structure is actually, there's a wall dividing the structure in half. It's more of a shed and a workshop rather than a garage because of the way that it's constructed. The foundation actually has a step in the middle of it that you can't see from the outside of the drawing. So it's so the idea would be to be able to build a building that's 30 by 40. We weren't aware, obviously, of the setback issue until we had the variance work done and the survey done. But as mentioned earlier, we have talked to our immediate neighbors. The point about the neighbor who lives on the point, she was the most concerned because she just wanted to make sure that it didn't encroach further to her property. She was not concerned at all about encroaching towards the right-of-way that runs adjacent to our driveway.
I don't have anything.
Questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody online? No, sir. Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? All right, if not, I'll close this part of the public hearing. Go ahead, Charlie.
I recommend that we go another month with this and look into the situation that we're creating here by what happens on the adjacent property is adversely affecting our property. And if they do that all over the place, this house has been there forever. The both driveways have been there forever. And now all of a sudden, there's a setback onto their property, and I think that's wrong. We should look at the ordinance and maybe look at changing.
But by looking at the ordinance, we know what the ordinance is. It's not going to change anything,
Right.
The ordinance is not going to change in a month's time either.
And all we're doing is holding them up.
Right.
Basically, what they're measuring from is a driveway that goes to 5 houses, but encumbering acreage on their property and saying you can't do certain things in there unless you meet county requirements in that strip.
And my thought process, based on what you've said and what you've pointed out, what Ms. Pruitt has said, and based on what this is right here, I think we have a way that we can allow them to do what they're asking to do.
Absolutely.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
But I think we ought to look at what we're doing.
Yeah, and that
What
may be
was
something.
the intention when they created this 100-foot setback from a driveway, or they're calling them right-of-ways? But, this is a driveway that goes to 5
And
houses.
where they're at is all the way at the end of it also. So to me, that makes a difference too. But I understand what you're saying with it was added, and now you have to come off of it based on what our code says. I understand all that, but to me, that's why they're here to talk to us, for us to look at it. I mean, it's not going to open up everything to everybody. It's going to be on a case-by-case basis. And once again, I feel like we have enough to allow them to do what they want to do. And down the road, yes, maybe we need to look at this ordinance, like you said, and check it out and see what we need to do with it, if it needs to change.
Okay.
I'm with you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not opposed to looking at the ordinance in the future, but I think we have enough here, and it would be a disservice to them to hold them up from starting their project when we have the capability based on the the conditions, primary conditions, where we could approve it now.
Yeah, and I also concur with that, because what they're doing, they're removing an old structure and putting it with a more pleasing structure, so I don't see any issue either.
Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion then.
Make a motion to approve as requested.
Second.
Second. Got a motion on the floor to approve. It's been properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed?
All right. 3, 4, and 1 opposed. Motion is passed then. All right, well, thank you all very much for coming in. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
A little bit more than what you thought it was gonna be, wasn't it? All right, moving on. It's my report. I really don't have anything to report on. I don't have nothing at the other meeting, don't have nothing at this meeting. You almost think I sleep through all these meetings. Anything else coming up? Anything we should be aware of? Or-
I don't believe so. We've had a couple of calls about possible variance requests, but nothing definitive at this moment. If we were to do anything, if anything came in, it wouldn't be until at least October.
Okay.
Hopefully later. It seems like we've had a lot of meetings lately.
I know.
But, yeah, nothing overly definitive right at this moment.
Okay, because I think last time you had something you thought was coming up, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, well,
I do. It was a pier, I think, that skinny property maybe. Is that what we're thinking of?
Yes.
That drags on, so.
okay. All right, well, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, Mr. Chairman,
Go,
before
yes.
we go,
Yes, ma'am.
again, if you can make sure that you, if you're able to fill out the checklist, if you're willing to fill out the checklist for each of those, that'd be great. The only other thing we had on the agenda was just,
Oh, appointments.
there was we had one reappointment, which I believe is Brian, reappointed as a alternate. I believe, was it Brian, I think? I had that in here somewhere, but,
Is that right?
I'm sorry, yeah,
Actually,
no,
it was
here it is. It was Bill Farrell. So he was reappointed as an alternate. The next, we have a couple, we've got Mr. Pruitt that's up next year, and then everyone is succeeding from that. So nothing new, but just to let you know that we had that reappointment. So we're still a full board at this point. No vacancies.
All right, I think we had a motion to adjourn, and it was probably seconded, so everybody was in favor, so we'll close this meeting. Thank y'all very much for coming. Thank y'all for what y'all
Thank
do.
you.